Hello and welcome back to the Not the Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Today we've got an exclusive interview for you, this time with Dundee midfielder Shaun Byrne, recorded before Dundee's most recent victory, a 1-0 win over Morton last Saturday. We speak to Shaun about his time in lockdown as a footballer, how the season started for Dundee, and about the return of fans to football stadiums across the SPFL and beyond. This was recorded after Dundee's defeat to Hearts on the opening day, so apologies if you're wondering why are they speaking about this Morton game like it hasn't happened yet. That is the reason why I recorded just before that. Shaun Byrne even managing to get himself into the SPFL Team of the Week for his performance in that one. So a good weekend for him ahead of Dundee's next game at the time of this recording against Raith Rovers. So we hope you do enjoy. Please do remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Got plenty of content coming up over the weekend. We've got an Edinburgh Derby preview with former Hibs manager and former Scottish Cup winner John Hughes and Hearts' 2012 hero Danny Granger as well. Both of them providing really good insight to what it's like to go into a derby and be involved in such a high-profile match. So do check that out. That'll be out Saturday morning. As well as that, we'll have our usual Premiership previews and reviews with all your different SPFL managers and players, as well as some more exclusive content next week. So please do keep your eyes out for that. But I'll leave you with our chat with Shaun. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and until next time. By the time this goes out, you will have played Morton. But as we record this, the most recent game is the one against Hearts. Obviously, not the way you wanted to start the season, but it shows you the sort of level of competition you'll be up against this year.
Yeah, I think obviously it was a disappointing start for us on Friday. Never really started the game well, and they got a goal ahead, and I think they sort of got a lot of momentum for that and went on to win the game. But it was a disappointing start for us. But I think we've got to try and get to the back of our minds as quick as possible and sort of react on Saturday against Morton.
I think it was just sort of a lot of people perhaps not focusing as much on Dundee. I think the general vibe has been, just how strong Hearts looked. It's sort of, if you do want to push towards that top spot, they look to be the sort of team to beat this year.
Yeah, 100. They're obviously, it's been well documented that they're big favourites for the league, and the squad they've got is really impressive and stuff. But I think we never really done ourselves justice on Friday. The way we played and gave them a lot of cheap goals, so it was disappointing for us. But there's still a long way to go, and we've just got to pick ourselves up and get ready to try and go and get 3 points on Saturday.
How were you viewing the sort of season ahead of this? Because it's a shortened championship season, from last term. It is so tight for 36 games, but when you're playing 27, 28, it gets even tighter.
No, I think getting a good start's massive this season, obviously, with the league being cut down on games. I think it's important to get off to a strong start, so we've got to try and get a win on Saturday and start picking up some results.
Well, I mean, as we record this, your next game's against Morton, but ones after that, Raith, Alloa, and then even Cove in the League Cup. It's obviously every game's fairly difficult at that level, but it's games you're probably looking at going, we could be looking to get 3 points, especially in your home games.
Yeah, I think that's one thing last year. We never really went on enough good runs. It was sort of 2 games, 3 games, and then we need to try and build it into 4 and 5 wins in a row and carry momentum on. So obviously starting against Morton, we hope to get 3 points and go on a good run.
It's true. I think that's just the way the championship to fair. I know a few managers and players that spoke about it. It's very, very rare you actually do get that run of 4 or 5 games where you get a couple of wins, couple of draws. It's sort of stop-start for most teams.
No, it's the championship's tough. It's a really tough league. It's hard to get any points in the league, so you've got to be right on it for the start of each game. So I think everyone can beat anyone sort of on their day. So we need to make sure that we're ready for Saturday and hopefully pick up 3 points and sort of start our season and go on a good run.
I know it's slightly different for Dundee being one of probably a Premiership size club in the Championship, but especially with your teams like Raith Rovers, Alloa, Queen of the South all cutting costs, that sort of gap between part-time teams in the league and full-time teams is probably lessened a wee bit just with the way the COVID-19 pandemic's worked out.
Yeah, I think I think every team's going to have been struggling with the pandemic and stuff, we've had to take some sacrifices, and I'm sure there's plenty of other clubs as well. But that's just the way it is with football just now, and the quicker it gets back with fans and stuff, the better.
All taking a knock in your wages, I suppose, to get Charlie Adam through the door.
I don't know about that. Aye.
It must be like, obviously being in midfield. I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, you look at Dundee's midfield and they've got Graham. You can start with Graham Dorrans and Charlie Adam in the Championship. Just sounds bizarre.
No, it is. There's two really quality players, and it's good for the other midfielders and that as well. We can sort of learn off them, and it's good to have sort of quality players like that in the squad. And I'm sure they're going to be a massive factor in us doing well this year with having them. And it's good, as I said, for sort of me personally as well, and obviously younger boys to learn from them. They've played at the highest level that you could in football, so hopefully it works out really well for us.
I mean, you seen on Friday, even though the result didn't go the way you wanted it to, like Charlie Adam, the technical stuff he was able to show, that goal he scored and just some of the passes he made, whilst perhaps obviously at 34 understandable, perhaps not getting the legs as some of you guys, but technically it just seems on another level. Yeah,
you don't play in sort of the English Premier League and for Scotland and stuff if you're a bad player. And you could see in training already, just his left foot's a wand, and technically his passing and stuff, it's different class. So it's good to be playing alongside somebody like that, and hopefully it can be a massive player for us and go and do well.
Just how did you sort of find it personally during the sort of pandemic and the brunt of it? Because I know a lot of players at that level did get like put on furlough and things like that, and I suppose you were one of the fortunate ones. You're still obviously under contract. I know a lot of boys had sort of found themselves in the free agency wilderness.
Yeah, I think it was tough, but it's been tough for everyone. We had a programme sort of early on in the lockdown, so that was sort of kept us going until we went back to training. So it was good getting out and exercising and stuff. Sort of took your mind off what was going on. So it was tough. It was tough, sorry, but it was something that we do. Got back, and obviously the squad's really fit, so it's been worthwhile.
When did you just get back? I know Hearts went back really early. Did you just go back sort of end of August time?
I think we were back just at the end of August it was, so I think Hearts were back at the start, near the start of August, and then they had to stop for a week or whatever. So, but as I said, we had a programme. It was really tough, and fair play to all the boys. We done the programme. It was optional, so I think it stood us in good stead for this season.
Fitness-wise, it'll be interesting. By the looks of it, everybody was able to clock up their own best 5k run times and all that, and I'm assuming Dundee was much the same. I
don't know if I want to do another 5k again, to be fair. Now there's plenty of them and 1,000-metre runs, and as I said, it was a hard programme in it, but it's sort of set us in good stead for the season ahead.
I think even though it was obviously a difficult programme physically, mentally as well, because it's been obviously an extended layoff, the game against Hearts is your first competitive league match since like March. I mean, even when the pandemic hit and the leagues get shut down, March, April time, you probably couldn't have predicted how long it was going to be before you kicked a ball in anger again.
Yeah, to start with, it was sort of just prepare as like we're going to be off for a week or whatever, but then the longer it went on, and then obviously the season got cut short, so it's like you've been out with a sort of like a leg break, sort of the amount of time we were off, so it's been tough. I think there's been a few niggling injuries and stuff, but that was expected just with the length that we were off. So now hopefully it can get back to normal, and I think after the first few games and stuff, things should start getting sharper and stuff now.
I think that'll probably, even though Hearts are probably one exception, just where they've been back a wee bit longer, but everybody else it is going to, especially, I know you said about a good start, but everybody is pretty much going to be on an even playing field for the first month at least.
No, it was, we had a few pre-season games, so, but it's not the same. It's obviously, you want to start the competitive stuff, and pre-season sort of get the fitness up and match sharpness, but hopefully after sort of the first few weeks, I think, as you said, sharpness will start coming back to players and should hopefully go back to normal.
I mean, not normal seems just so far away now. I mean, you've had the brunt of the COVID stuff like firsthand, I suppose, with the way the Forfar game panned out. Like, how was the sort of the protocols have been well received, I think, by players and staff at clubs, but you probably dealt with the more severe side effects of that firsthand a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think you've seen it obviously even in the Premier League. They're getting tested sort of twice a week and stuff. There's games getting called off of Motherwell and St Mirren on Saturday. I don't think it'll be the sort of last. I think there will be a few more stuff like that happening, but as players you've just got to try and prepare as best as possible and just follow all the rules, and hopefully, as I said, things will start going back to normality soon.
We always speak about like bubbles. I know Jim Goodwin, speaking to him last week, like pretty much the bubble's non-existent really, because even though you're being tested, I'm assuming people that you're living with, you can't possibly put them through the same testing protocols you've got.
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously, your partner might go to work and someone at the work might get COVID and stuff. So it's really tough. But as players, you can only sort of do as what you can and follow all the rules, and hopefully there's some sort of fixed it and we can get back with fans at the stadiums and it'll be a lot better.
How have you sort of found that? Because Premiership players have been used to it now for a couple of weeks, but this is you guys sort of at the sort of start of the process they were at in August. So how have you sort of found it initially?
There's no lying about it. It's really weird. I was on the bench on Friday and Hearts were playing like sort of crowd noise from behind, but it's not the same. I think it's never going to be the same without fans, but everybody's in the same boat, so you've got to adapt to sort of what's going on.
I think they do that. See, with the games on the telly, it'll probably be different for like games at home and stuff. The ones that aren't played at Friday night in the BBC, but they do pipe in the crowd noise for the TV games. Where they probably play on Saturday and it's just completely dead silence. I don't actually know what's worse, the fake crowd coming for the tannoy or the actual dead silence.
I don't know. You watch the games on the TV and stuff. It's weird. I think it's probably better with the crowd noise, to be fair. But as I said, it's just everybody's in the same boat, and there's not much we can do about it. We've just got to adapt to it, and that's sort of what's going to have to happen until the fans come back.
It's thrown us, well, more so down south than here, I suppose, but it's definitely through a pod of bonkers results. That sort of factor of being home and away doesn't really matter. I mean, it's all the same atmosphere whether you're playing at Dens or Tynecastle.
No, it is. I think it's sort of probably helps the away team a wee bit more as well, because usually if you're at home, you've got an advantage with fans there on your side and stuff. So it makes it a lot more even. And as you said, there's been some mental results in England with Villa beating Liverpool 7-2 and stuff like that. It's mental. So no, it is a lot different, but you just got to get on with it and do as best as you can.
Especially at that level as well, it's so crucial for fans to get back in the door revenue-wise. I suppose just across the full of Scottish football, really, there's not going to be, you can't go on like this forever.
No, I think it doesn't matter if it's Rangers or Celtic or Brecon or whatever. I think all the clubs they need the fans back in, and I think the players are obviously desperate to get the fans back, and I'm sure the fans are all dying to get back and watch their team as well. I think there is a lot of help that's going to be needed if this goes on a lot longer.
I think the photos that upped fans most recently was, I don't know if you've seen the ones like the London Palladium and stuff like that. Like the London Palladium, like a couple in it. You can't put 300 fans in even at Dens Park. I think it's that side of things that's more annoying fans. If it was a widespread ban, and that's not a criticism of like the theatres or arts or that, because they need folk back through the door as much as football does, perhaps even more so, but it doesn't help football fans, I don't think, who want to go back and they see people indoors rather than socially distanced outdoors.
No, 100%. Look, you look at some of the bigger stadiums and there is plenty of room to space fans out around the stadium, and it is disappointing that maybe 1,000 fans or whatever can't come to Dens Park and stuff on a Saturday and watch a game when you see all this stuff going on. But as I said, that's out of our control, and we've just sort of got to follow the guidelines, and as I say, hopefully things go back to normal soon.
I always wonder as well. Let's say Dundee do manage to get promotion this year. I mean, the way it's looking, probably won't have full capacity crowds at least this season. I mean, if Dundee do go and achieve something and it's in front of nearly empty stands, it'll just be a bit of a not a damp squib. You'll be very happy with whatever you perhaps achieve, but it won't have that same edge as full Dens Park would have.
No, 100%. The atmosphere and stuff would obviously be a lot different with having fans there, but we know that there'll be a lot of Dundee fans watching through streams, and so we've got to make them proud as well and stuff with the way we play. So even though there's nobody at the stadium, there's plenty of people watching us, and still obviously a lot of comments to make. So we've got to perform.
You find that a wee bit odd? Like perhaps if I don't know how if you read into like comments or stuff that people put online after a game, but like you're playing in front of nobody, but the reactions perhaps more because everybody's watching it online and they're in their houses watching it and they can just comment, flick a button as soon as something happens, rather than the 4,500 people at Dens is a bit different reaction wise to results.
I think no matter what club you're at, there's always going to be good and bad comments about players, and fans are always, they pay their money, so I suppose they've got a right to criticise, but obviously it's no nice when you see or hear negative comments. But no, I think you've just got to get on with it. That's where you've got to be mentally strong and stuff. Fans, there's got to be fans that love you. There'll be fans that don't like you, and one week you'll be amazing, next week you're rubbish. It's just a lot of fans are like that, to be fair.
That's just Scottish football, I suppose, always looking for wee criticisms and that here. But no, I mean, it is. I mean, I couldn't imagine sort of sitting 6 months ago or something like that and just talking about this. It is probably going to be a while before you can actually sit down and do this, or you do a press conference or something like that, and you actually speak about the football, because the problem is that the football isn't the main talking point this season, really. It is the lack of fans, it's the testing, it's the positive cases, which is a shame for the game, really.
No, I think it changes every day as well. Sometimes, like, you never know what's going to happen. So sometimes you're just taking it day by day, and stuff happens. So you just got to try and adapt as best as possible. Like the game against Forfar, I think we had basically all arrived at the stadium to play the game that night, and then it got called off just a few hours before kickoff. So you just got to try and be as professional as possible, follow all the rules, and just got to adapt.
I think that is the thing about adapting, but even though you can adapt, you don't want to adapt for too long. You don't want to get to a point where this is just football now and this is the way we go on. However, it does look like it will be this way for until we get a vaccine, really, which, who knows, me, you are medical scientists to the best of my knowledge, so who knows when we'll actually manage to get like full capacity crowds and things like that again.
Football is nothing without the fans. That's obvious. Even more so when the games there's no fans here. You could see how much all sort of teams missed fans in the atmosphere around the stadium and stuff. So the quicker, hopefully, something gets sorted, then we can get back with full stadiums and good atmospheres on game days.
Well, I don't think cardboard cutouts quite make for real life impressions of actual people. They just freak me out a wee bit whenever I'm sitting in stadiums so far now. So I can only imagine what they look like if you're near them in the stands and stuff, and you look back and there's 100 cardboard faces looking at you.
Aye.
But in terms of like the Dundee squad this year, how do you think it's obviously been, as with Championship and most Premiership teams, it is usual chopping and changing in the squad, 10 in, 10 out type thing. So how's Dundee's squad looking ahead of the Championship campaign?
Yeah, obviously there's been a few new players. There's a few boys that left last season and stuff as well. So, but all the boys that have came in, really good players, and hopefully can make us stronger this season. And I believe we're in a better position than what we were last year. But it's up to us as a squad to go on and sort of prove that and try and make it a really successful season and try and get out of this league.
Dundee were in the Premiership for a few years there. It is a Premiership club, but you'll probably have the likes of Dunfermline saying that, Inverness saying that, so it's not even though Dundee are probably arguably one of the bigger teams in that league, it's not exactly a given that you'll get a playoff spot at the end of it.
No, 100%. It doesn't matter. You see in other leagues and stuff, it doesn't matter about the size of the club. It's up to the players and the staff to go and work together and go and try and be successful and get a lot of positive results. And I believe that we will do that this season, but it's sort of up to us to go and do that. And there is a lot of quality in the squad, so we need to go and do it on a Saturday and pick up 3 points.
Probably good as well, just in terms of your manager. Obviously his first season last year, and then he'll be another year more experience going into this year, obviously, and that can only be a help.
No, I think it was sort of a learning curve for everyone last year, and hopefully we can all learn from our mistakes and take them into this season and sort of fix it. The Championship, as I said, it's one of the hardest leagues to play in. There's a lot of tough games, home and away. You've got to scrap for every point. So, no, I think everybody's got to try and learn from their mistakes for last season and hopefully put it right this year.
Just in terms of you as well, obviously spoke about the competition in that midfield, both youthful-wise, with the likes of Finlay Robertson and Charlie Adam, Graham Dorrans. So you'll be hoping for as many starts as you want, but it'll be difficult. No,
it's difficult, but I think you've got to. I want to play every single game. I came to Dundee to play every week, so I've got to back myself against no matter who's in my position to go and play. And I think at the end of last year, I went on a good bit of form and stuff. So I'm hoping to sort of continue that when hopefully I get back in the team and carry it on through the season. But as I say, I want to play every game, every minute. That's what I came to Dundee to do, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.